Also with us, Kurt Bardella, former House Oversight Committee spokesperson for Republicans. He's publisher of the Watchdog Report on Substack and co-host of the Party Lines podcast.
Well, it's a real treat to welcome you both and to have Kurt at the table, man. It's good to see you. I want to start with you because you were in the House formerly and now have operated outside of it and have been working and understanding things a little bit more from a distance. And I want to get into what I was saying in our chat just a moment ago, because I get it. I understand the narratives, and you've seen a lot of it this week in the headlines screaming, the base is moving from Trump and they're backing away, and really. Are they? I'm just not as convinced. They're not happy about the war. They're not happy about gas prices. But how much do you think this base actually turns from him when it matters this November? Are we a little bit premature in this base sort of backing off, or is there something that's really developing that has him in a corner right now?
Well, it's been interesting because I feel like for a really long time, those of us who are like-minded, whether you're a Republican or a recovering Republican, in my case, what is the off-ramp for Trump? When is enough enough? How much pain can Republicans endure before they decide to walk away? I'm outside the bubble. I'm in Dallas, Texas right now. I've lived here for a few years. And this is a place that has been traditionally incredibly conservative, very pro-Trump, very pro-Republican. The off-ramp from Trump is when their everyday lives start being impacted in a way that they can tangibly see. The problem with democracy dies in darkness is that most people who are living out here, who are just doing carpool every day, trying to get their kids home, trying to get their kids to practice, they don't know what that means. They don't feel that. But they do know what it means to fill up their gas tank, and it's more expensive. They do know what it means to go get a cup of coffee, and it costs more than it used to. They know what it means when they look at their stock portfolio, and it goes up and down with such alarming volatility, they can't make sense of what's up and what's down. They know what it means when Donald Trump says America first, but then every time they turn on the news or turn into their social media, they see Trump talking about annexing Greenland, taking out Venezuela's leader, going off on Iran, crusades in the Middle East, wanting to build a Trump Tower in Gaza. That doesn't sound America first. Donald Trump's problem is that he is now being compared to himself, to the expectations that he set, his words, his agenda, and it's not delivering for the people who voted for him. And in every election that we have had since 2024, there's a reason why Democrats have flipped more than 30 seats, Republicans have flipped 0. The voters that he used to have aren't showing up for him.
Yeah, and Angelo did say yesterday that sometimes in the past, at least, there have been sort of these iterations of these voters ultimately coming back. That obviously is a huge question mark here, along with the idea that these prices are going to bounce back too. There's economists who sort of have dueling predictions about whether or not oil prices will be able to snap back if there is a longer-term deal that is struck here about the war in Iran, and whether then that will quickly impact the inflation rates. But when it comes to the message, the current message of economic empathy coming from this White House, Jason, I want to ask you about it and sort of your take on it. Let's listen to actually Scott Bessent, who had his own version of economic empathy yesterday.
So at Treasury, we have loads of CEOs come through, whether they're in retail, credit card, the banks, and the consumer, while they may be sounding grim, is actually quite buoyant. So we are seeing spending has been very solid across most categories.
So they might not feel good, but...
Well, look, in their heart of hearts, they feel good. I'm not sure what they're telling the survey people.
Did they learn nothing from Joe Biden?
This is the thing. So there's two levels to this, Jackie. There's what Trump's going to do and what Trump's going to say, and then there's what these voters are actually feeling economically. Donald Trump is never boxed in, right? To me, he's not Houdini. He's the Kool-Aid man, right? He just, whenever you box him in, he's, oh, yeah. And he pops out with some other crazy thing, and everybody's going to pay attention to it. These people are not going to leave him, okay? They're never going to leave him. They are addicted to him like people can be addicted to Kool-Aid. The issue is not whether or not they leave Trump. The issue is if they are so economically despondent not because of a lack of empathy, but because of lack of money for gas, lack of money for groceries. We're heading into the summer season where people want to put their kids in summer camp and they want to take vacations. And if that vacation becomes a weekend trip, right, to the beach instead of a week-long trip, if the summer vacation becomes vacation Bible school for a couple of days instead of sending your kids off to Montana, they're going to be angry. I don't think that means that they turn into Democrats this fall, but it may mean they turn into people who stay on their couches. And that's probably what the impact is going to be on Trump, because they're not switching. They just may stay home.
Well, let's drill down on that point, Kurt, because I think that's exactly right. This research from Pew caught my eye. It was looking at Republican-leaning independents, who in particular are divided over the war. For instance, roughly half, 52%, approve of Trump's handling of the conflict, while 45% disapprove. Republican-leaning independents. If you were Democrats and you did want to appeal to that specific constituency, taking into account Dr. Johnson's point about the fact that some of these are just disaffected voters who are going to choose not to participate in the process, what's your message? How do you woo them?
You know, I think that Democrats need to rally around this idea of being just, we need you to be a Democrat for a day. We're not asking you to change your registration. We're not asking you to defy everything you've believed in up to this point. We're not asking you to change parties. What we need is to create a permission structure that allows you to this one time be a Democrat for a day. If you care about the health of the Republican Party, which, by the way, I do, I believe our system works best when we have two healthy, sane parties who adhere to traditional Democratic norms, the way we used to have it when Michael Steele was running the chairmanship of the Republican Party. If he was still chairman, I'd probably still be a Republican right now. What we need to do is invite people to want to take back their party to a sane place. The only way to do that is to send a resounding message that this path isn't the way. We need to let you be a Democrat for a day. Stop with the purity tests. Stop with the all or nothingisms. Stop with the you have to do this or everything will fall apart and die. Just give people a permission structure to one time vote with us and then see what happens after.
Michael Steele, since Simone is not here, I'm going to say what Simone would say, which is Michael Steele already has a job. He will not be the RNC chair.
No, we will not be RNC chair. I think the last time the vote was pretty hard. This would be harder. I loved what Kurt just said. Take it away, Kurt.
Yeah. Well, and this, I have never seen a political party with all the reins of power, House, Senate, White House, spend so much time looking backwards, talking about why they can't get anything done because of things that happened before them long since they're out of party. Why should any voter trust you to continue having power when all you do with it is blame the past, not move anything forward? And again, people ultimately, whether you're an R or a D or somewhere in between, people are selfish. They care about their own situation. They care about their own child care, their own health care, their own education, their own community. They don't care about what happened 2 years ago or 5 years ago. That's not an excuse that's going to be palatable to them. You promised them, Donald Trump, that on day one, everything that was going wrong with the train wreck that was Biden and Harris would be solved. You promised on day one to end all the wars. You promised on day one no more good money after bad fighting foreign wars. And you've done the exact opposite of that. Democrats now, their challenge is meet people where they are. Don't, like I said, don't ask them to marry you. We're not trying to, we just need you to go on a first date with us to get you there to vote for us one time. You got to meet people where they are, though. And that begins, like Jason said, he's absolutely right about this. And I know Michael knows this from being the chairman of a party. You got to do it at the local level. You got to send people that they actually care about. No one here in Texas cares about what AOC or Mandami thinks about the state of affairs. We could care less. We care what Tallarico thinks. We care about what maybe John Cornyn or Ken Paxton thinks. Get people in their states where they live, where they know the community and have that relationship. That's the only chance you have at changing someone's mind.